Alright, hi guys, CombatEX and TvP VOD, and this game is a TvP on one of the newer maps. I'm not really sure what it's called. I'll get their names down sooner or later. But before this game starts, I just want to put some things out there because there's been way too much controversy over me about topics that I feel are very unnecessary because I haven't really talked about them, and people are going off and making assumptions and making arguments from those assumptions, and it's just not, it's a bad spiral. So I want to stop it and just put some things out there today because I feel like everyone should know, and everyone that hasn't been keeping up with Starcraft 1 should know about this. Alright, so first of all, I've never cheated in tournaments, and nor will I ever. I've only been banned from one tournament in my entire life, and that was a CSL. And I got banned for fucking BMing in a stream chat. Not even in the fucking game, in a fucking Justin TV chat. I think you guys need to learn to man the fuck up and accept BM as just part of the game. Secondly, begging for wins, like, are you fucking serious right now? Do you honestly think I give a fuck if I win a game or not? Like, I average around 2,000 games per season. Like, I don't think one loss is gonna hurt me. I do that shit to troll you guys, or all the pro gamers, just like I do with my BM. So, for all you haters out there, I think you need to take that middle finger and shove it up your fucking asshole again. I stream snipe. You know why? Because it's a fucking video game. You take a CD and you put it into your fucking computer and start playing. People need to calm the fuck down because of stream sniping. I do that because it's hilarious to see in cholesterol rage, along with all the other fucking featured newbies on TL. And another thing, I want to point out that there's a difference between being bad-mannered and a bad player. I'm very bad-mannered, but I'm fucking godly at Starcraft. And you know what comes with being BM? Not giving a fuck what you haters think. So all you haters, get the fuck out of my videos and go jerk each other off while all my fans learn how to play and how to be godlike. And now, let's get to this game. Before it starts, one last thing. This is, again, my off race. I don't want anyone giving me shit for my off races being bad, because I'm telling you right now that my off races are actually a lot worse than my Protoss. If you're anything above low masters, you're probably not going to learn much from these videos because they are not that good relative to my Protoss, obviously. But if you're lower than low masters, then yeah, you probably will learn. So again, I don't want any shit about why my Zerg videos or Terran videos are not that good, because I guarantee you they're not as good as my Protoss videos. I can just tell you that right now. So you don't have to watch if you don't want to, if you're not a Zerg or a Terran player. But regardless, I'm going to be posting them for the other 2/3 of my community. Anyways, let's get to this game now. Alright, right off the bat, I want to tell you guys one thing. Always wall. Despite what race you're playing, always wall. It's so important. There's nothing. You don't lose anything from walling. It doesn't. Well, against Terran, I still think walling is a pretty good idea, but I wouldn't recommend it against Terran because bunker rushes and stuff like that can actually own you, but SCV rushes can get nullified from it. But always wall. It's so important. You lose nothing. The only time a walling is at a disadvantage is when your opponent goes that Void Ray build and they're pressuring your front door, or if they're going Colossus. Like any sort of really early, super high Void Ray or Colossus rush. Other than that, walling is so useful. Trust me, I proxy 2-gate like 10% of my games, and a wall is an automatic win if your opponent proxy 2 gates. Another thing I want you guys to know, always keep in mind, always take into consideration when your opponent's scout came to your base. As a Terran player, I don't really have the scout timings memorized of what times, like what did the scout come in. I can't really depict where their position is judging from their scout. But if you're playing Terran, you should be able to depict when your opponent scouted you, so you can scout their base properly. I didn't really do that in this case. But anyways, okay, about the micro. Concussive shells. Again, I'm rushing to Marauders. I didn't really talk about this earlier, but you don't really need that Marine if you're going to wall, because that Marine's only useful to defend against rushes, but if you're going to wall, the rushes aren't going to do any damage in the first place. And so, rushing concussive shells is really important. And notice how you regularly probably would have attacked if you only pulled off a little bit of pros, but considering you pulled off that many, I figured might as well just run because I'm getting good dividends. And notice, I'm not really losing anything. And again, only 2 Marauders to pressure, because losing 2 Marauders, even if I don't kill a single unit, sure, I'll be a little bit behind, but not that much. And notice how I'm microing. I'm moving forward and attacking. If you do this, a stalker can never run away from you. Always do this when you're fighting stalkers against Marauders early game, because a stalker can never run away against a Marauder that's moving forward and attacking, And notice how I got my expansion at that time, and also my EB and my second gas. Another really important thing I want you guys to note is I saw what unit composition he's going. So I know that he's going for some sort of early, like he has 1 gate into either expand or into some sort of tech. And so I know that I'm safe to, like, he's not doing some sort of really early 4-gate pressure, so I'm safe to get this medevac and 2 barracks out. The only reason I'm getting those 2 barracks this early, well, they're not really that early. The only reason I'm getting them out is because I want to defend against some sort of early rush. And I know my expansion will probably be before his, because he's going one gate into, well, if he's going 1 gate into expand, then it won't be earlier, but then it won't be later either. And notice this, I'm already getting a bunker out there without getting anything out there yet, because, well, again, this is kind of one of those things where you anticipate you're going to expand, and so you get your bunker preemptively. And also notice this. I made the orbital command at the top. Why did I do that? You guys might see programmers do it, but I guarantee you not no one, but most of you guys probably don't know exactly why. The reason for that is because they can call down that mule faster if they build it up there. They build it up there so SCV doesn't come and kill it. Now the reason, and also because the mule, you can call down the mule at your main base as opposed to your expansion, and also it saves you from getting some sort of stupid like Zealot taking out the command center. If they're going some sort of early pressure, then it kind of nullifies the early pressure. At least you don't lose your expansion from it, and your command center doesn't get delayed. And now also I'm getting my eBay. This is kind of like standard TvP. I'm getting stuff a little bit earlier, like I'm cutting a little bit of SCV production, but for the most part I'm getting stuff at a fairly reasonable time. And also I want you guys to note this. Throughout this game you'll be seeing that I don't actually use mules as much as other players. I use scans more often. The reason for that is because I think it's much more important knowing what your opponent's doing than it is getting that extra little bit of minerals. Well, okay, it's hard to it's not really more important as opposed to it's required. You don't want, like, as a Protoss player, I know I really fuck current players up because I'm just praying they don't scan, and usually they don't. So I like to scan. Okay, robotics facility right now. What's going through my? I also saw probes transfer, so and I saw he didn't have a natural expansion with my factory, so I'm gonna be scouting other bases to see where he expanded. And also notice this. I put his factory is kind of like a really, really beefy SCV to scout, cause and it can fly, and that's kind of imbo. It sounds really imbo, but it's a factory, right? So always scout with your factory. Like, you guys probably just keep your factory at your own base, but no, you always want to scout with it. Like, it's a really important scout. Like, it's not gonna die for the most part unless your opponent goes mass blink stalkers, which in that case Marauders will just straight up rape it. So yeah, like, always scout with your factory. Notice how I have it as expansion, and notice how I scan, knowing. Like, I probably would have sent this medevac out regardless because I saw he didn't have an expansion, so I would already assume that he has a proxy expansion. And I know he's expanded here because it's like the most common place to expand. And again, another thing I want you guys to note with drops: always just do damage. Never try to do like crippling amounts of damage against a Protoss player with drops. Always just try to harass a little bit, and you should always be dropping. The only time you shouldn't be dropping is if your opponent's going Phoenix or really heavy blink stalkers, because then drops won't pay off. But excluding that, your drops will almost always pay off. And now, again, getting 5 barracks. 5 barracks in the medevac is kind of like the standard. Getting an armory because you want to get past +1/+1, because you need an armory to get past +1 weapon, +1 armor. And notice how I have a watchtower and SV patrolling. And I do this with my Protoss videos too. Again, lots of things I do with my Protoss videos you can also pass over into your Tarn and Zerg, or into your main race, I guess. Always have an SCV patrolling and keeping at the watchtower to know when your opponent's coming. And you guys might wonder, why do I patrol it? Why don't I just keep it sitting there? The reason I patrol it is because then if you patrol it, it doesn't say that you have a vacant SCV doing nothing. It says that your SCV is actually doing something. And if you're playing at a higher level, you don't ever want to have an SCV not doing anything. And so it bugs you when you see that you have a vacant SCV or SCV not doing anything. And so yeah, and okay, here we go, another big engagement. I know that he's going to be force fielding, so I'm already ready to run away. And again, always, if your opponent doesn't have, like, if your opponent doesn't get good force fields off, always cut your opponent. You get so much damage off. And notice how I'm making sure his Immortal doesn't do any damage, because my main goal right now is not that Immortal do any damage. The Immortal finally got into a good position, so I started running away. Again, if your opponent doesn't have really good force fields, which I think all Protoss players must do in order to beat Tarn armies, if you don't have good force, if your opponent in this case doesn't have good force fields, then you always want to kite your opponent and not let the Immortals or Colossus do any damage, because it's possible. Stalkers and Zealots are usually leading the charge, so you can always kill off all the Zealots before any Immortal shots get off, and it's super important. And now look at this, I'm building supply depots here. Why am I doing this? This is kind of the equivalent of building pylons for the Protoss race. I'm sure it costs essentially 100 minerals, and it kind of lets you see when your opponent's expanding. Sure, they're going to kill it eventually, but whatever. It's only a little bit of supply depot. You might be supply blocked, but that's the power of calling down supply depots. Which by the way, I don't really recommend ever calling down supply depot unless you're really, really, really supply blocked and you need the supply, because scans and mules are probably a much better way to spend supply than calling down supply depot. And why did I do that? Because I'm used to being a Protoss player and used to chrono boosting out my warp gates, and so that was a bad habit of playing Protoss. Not really a bad habit, a good habit, I guess, but It doesn't really work when you're playing Terran. Obviously, don't do that. I just did it because I play Protoss. And notice I'm just constantly scanning. Like, it's okay to not be greedy with meals. Like, you always want to know what your opponent is doing and know where their army is. And notice now, I'm trying to cut his army off. I tried to use that scan to my advantage by getting vision on the high ground with it. Now, again, his force fields are really bad. I think those are like half aggressive, half defensive force fields. Not really that good. And now, again, always going to be trying to abuse drops. Again, I'm not the best Terran player, so I don't have like constantly drop harassment, but I have, whenever I notice it, I try to do it. So again, trying to always drop harass your opponent. And another thing, as a Protoss player, I want you guys to know, as with when you're playing Terran, never try to commit with that drop. All you need to do is a little bit of damage, kill a little bit of units, and then run. And notice how I scanned there, knowing when his army would be moving back or if he'd be committing to my base, because I need to know if he's going to be counterattacking or coming back to defend it. All I'm going to be doing is killing 2 pylons, killing a cannon. What is that, 350 minerals? For what? Nothing? I actually lost nothing there. Again, you want to do a little bit of damage. If you kill that dropship and those 4 units, then I would have lost a lot. Again, all you want to do is just a little bit of damage and then run out. You don't ever want to be able to like kill your opponent with a drop, because then you're committing too hard. Unless you're going for some sort of doom drop where you're using everything to drop, you don't ever want to be committing with the drop. And now, what's going through my head? Okay, he's on 2 base, I'm getting my 3rd base. I'm sitting in a comfortable position. I got better upgrades than him because I checked one of his stoppers at one point. And so I have better upgrades than him. All I need to be doing is sitting, getting expansions, and again, kind of like I do with my Protoss, don't ever attack. You're never pressured to attack. And here we go, he's pushing into me. This is kind of a stupid battle. I think I've already won this game, as surprising as it is, because I've been harassing him like crazy, and he's gotten his expansion. I've killed his army several times, and yeah, I just killed his army. So this is kind of game. Like, he just lost his whole army without killing anything. Again, you need those Colossus or Templar to do damage. Like, my opponent, again, is going to be probably roughly around Masters. I'm not really exactly sure. I'm playing on my friend's account, if you noticed the name. I don't know if you saw it yet, but I am playing on my friend's account. And now, again, using the abusiveness, I guess, of medevac drops. And again, scanning here to know if his army is coming down or not, because I really want to know if he's going to be coming to defend this or if he's going to be going for a counterattack, or if he's going to be dismissed out there and do nothing. But yeah, now I have enough to kill off the Nexus. Again, if you have a lot of units, I think 8 Marauders is a pretty good gamble to try to kill off the Nexus. And now again, just loading everything and running away. What did I lose? I lost absolutely nothing in the job. I killed the whole Nexus. So now this is pretty much all in for him. What's going through my head? He's essentially all in. All I have to do is constantly just defend, 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 and he's going to be essentially forced to all in. Because I'm on 2 bases, he's on 1. That 1 base is probably being mined out, so again, he's pretty forced to be all in. I shouldn't be getting these upgrades because I know that he's going all in. All I have to do is defend. However, I'm getting a little bit cocky knowing that he doesn't even have an army, so I know even if he goes all in, he's not going to really do damage with it. Now he is going all in, and this is pretty much game. Again, this is not really, I wouldn't consider this one of my better videos. I'll probably post another one a little bit better than this, but he's trying to do this cube link Starcraft maker. It's not going to really do anything. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Look forward to more coming out, and again, sorry about this bad game. I don't really consider it that good of a game, but I figured I'd post something. But anyways, peace out.